high call series.
Morning children. So we have slowly come towards completing the different physical features of India. So we have started with the northern mountains, the Himalayas and all. And then we had the northern plains, the Gangetic plain, the Satluj plain and the Brahmaputra plain. And then we had the Thar desert. And then we had the southern plateau. And now we have to deal with the coastal plains and the islands of India. Right? So today in this lesson, we are going to deal with the coastal plains and the islands. You know, India has a very big coastal line. Coastal line means what? Yeah, areas which are very close to the sea. We know India is a peninsula, isn't it? We know India is a peninsula. What is peninsula? Yes, a land mass which gets protruded into the water body is called a peninsula, isn't it? Yes. So, India is a land which is covered by Arabian Sea in the west, Bay of Bengal in the east, and Indian Ocean in the south. So, this land mass is actually covered by water on three sides and land on the fourth one. What is that? Yeah, the Himalayas and the China. Above that, isn't it? China. We have a peninsula region and we have a water on three sides. We have Arabian Sea here, Indian Ocean here, and the Bay of Bengal here, isn't it? So, we can see that actually the land area goes like this. And this is Pakistan. Here also, after reaching here, it goes like this, and here we have Bangladesh. So, in short, what we can understand is right from here till here. Okay, means this is the state of Gujarat. From the northern side of Gujarat to the eastern coastal side of West Bengal. Isn't it? West Bengal is a state that borders with Bangladesh. Right? Yeah. So, from the northern side of Gujarat till the eastern side of West Bengal, we have a very big coastal line. Right? And what is the length of this coastal line that we have? What is the length of this coastal line? Yes, the length of the coastal line is about 6,000 kilometers. What are they? Now, what is the length of the entire coastal line of India? 6,000 kilometers. Okay, so the total length of the coastal line of India is 6,000 kilometers, and it starts from Gujarat, covers the entire western area and reaches here, and this is Kanyakumari. Right? Kanyakumari is a place where this the western side of the coastal plain comes to an end, and from there it takes a turn and goes up to the north in the eastern side of India. Okay, so we have two coastal plains actually, coastal regions actually, and this coastal line or the coastal area in India has got both on its east and the western side. So, what are the states which come in the western side to share the coastal line with? So, in the top we have Gujarat. Right? And just below Gujarat we have Maharashtra. Then the smallest state of Goa. Then Karnataka. And Kerala. Okay, so the states that lie on the western coastal area of India are Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Kerala. Now, from Kanyakumari, it takes an eastern twist to the northeastern side, and here the topmost is West Bengal. Below that, Odisha. Below that, Andhra Pradesh. Below that, Tamil Nadu. Okay, so which are the states that share the coastal region with India? On the western side, we have Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, and Kerala. And on the eastern side, we have West Bengal, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. Right? And both these eastern and western coastal regions of India converge or joins at Kanyakumari. Okay? Now, we have a very good number of ports also, seaports also on this region. The ports like Kandla, Mumbai, Marmagoa, Mangalore, then Calcutta, Kochi. Then on the eastern side we have Tuticorin. Above Tuticorin we have Chennai. Then we have Kakinada Seaport. Above that we have Vizag. Above that we have Paradweep. Okay. So these are the major ports. On the eastern side we have Kolkata, Paradweep, Visakhapatnam, popularly known as Vizag Port, Kakinada, Chennai, and Tuticorin. On the western side, we have Kochi, Calicut, Mangalore. Mangalore is also known as New Mangalore, Marmagoa, Mumbai, and Kandla. Right? So, in a brief, we can see that India has a big coastline from Gujarat to West Bengal. It is about 6,000 kilometers long, and the states that share this are on the western side we have Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, and Kerala, and on the eastern side we have West Bengal, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. The western coastal line and the eastern coastal line meets at the common point of Kanyakumari. There are a lot of ports also, seaports also along this long coastal line that India has. The ports on the western side are Kandla, Mumbai, Marmagoa, Mangalore, Calicut, and Cochin, whereas the ports on the eastern side are Kolkata, Paradweep, Vizag, Kakinada, Chennai, and Tuticorin. Got it? Okay. So, in the previous lesson, we have learned that there is a triangular shaped plateau that is located in the Peninsula region, and this is marked with ranges of mountains on the eastern and the western side, isn't it? And we have also learned that Yeah, the mountains that are there on the hills, the hill ranges on the west are continuous mountain range, whereas the mountain on the hills on the eastern side are broken hills. Broken. Right? Yes. So now we need to understand that there is another physical feature which lies in between the coastal line and these mountains. Okay. So we have yes, this is a Western Ghats and these are the Eastern Ghats, right? So there, if we check, we can find a landform. If we check, we can find a landform in between the coastal line and the Western Ghats. And here in the Eastern Ghats. Right? So, the speciality of this landform is they lie in between Arabian Sea and Western Ghats. The second, Bay of Bengal and Eastern Ghats, right? So here it is in between the Western Ghats and the Arabian Sea, and here it is between the Eastern Ghats and the Bay of Bengal. Okay, so this land region is known as the coastal plain. Okay, so the land region that is found in between the Arabian Sea and the Western Ghats on the western part of India and the Bay of Bengal and the Eastern Ghats on the eastern part of India is called the coastal plains, right? So in South India we have two coastal plains. One is the Eastern Coastal Plain, this one, and the second is a Western Coastal Plain, right? So now we need to study a bit more about these two regions, and we will start with the Eastern Coastal Plain. We'll start with the Eastern Coastal Plain. So, Eastern Coastal Plain is the plain land area. So, remember, just like the northern plains, this land area in between the hills and the sea is a plain land area. Okay. So, the plain land area which lies in between the Eastern Ghats and the Bay of Bengal is known as the Eastern Coastal Plain. The plain land area which lies in between Eastern Ghats and the Bay of Bengal is known as the Eastern Coastal Plain. They are further divided into two parts. Okay. So, the first one in that is Northern Sarkar Coast. In that we have a Northern Sarkar. We know we have this river, no? River Krishna. We have a river Krishna, isn't it? So the plain region which lies to the north of river Krishna is known as the Northern Sarkar region. Okay, the northern side of river Krishna is known as the Northern Sarkar region. So part of West Bengal, Odisha, and the part of Andhra Pradesh are in a Northern Sarkar region. Okay. Because Northern Sarkar is a coastal line of eastern side of India which lies to the north of river Krishna. Okay, so that is called as a Northern Sarkar, and a speciality of this region is that it is very fertile. The region is very fertile. In the previous class, we have seen the river Damodar, which floods during the rainy season, again brings the silt. And we have plenty of rivers in that region. Damodar is there, Mahanadi is there, Godavari is there. Their tributaries are also in this flowing in this region. So this region is extremely fertile, right? So here we have a Sundarban Delta. Here we have a Sundarban Delta. So from Delta to the Krishna Delta is what is a northern Sirkaris. So the soil is very fertile. The major cities in this region are Paradweep is there, Visakhapatnam is there, right? Visakhapatnam is an industrial center also because there is a shipbuilding industry there, there is an oil refinery there, steel plant is there. Other major seaports are, we have a port in Machilpatnam, we have a seaport in Kakinada, then Gopalpur is another seaport in this region, right? So the first section of eastern coastal plain is called the northern Sircar. The northern Sircar is on the eastern coastal plain of India from the Sundarban Delta in the north until the river Krishna in the south. The region in between river Krishna and the Sundarban Delta are called the northern Sircar. The states that are there in this are West Bengal, Odisha and part of Andhra Pradesh. It's a very fertile region because it's on the floodplains of so many rivers like Mahanadi, then Damodar, then Godavari, their tributaries. All these are there in this region. And the major cities over here are Visakhapatnam, then Paradweep is another major port in this region. Then Visakhapatnam is also famous for its shipbuilding unit, oil refinery and a steel plant over there. And Kakinada, Machilipatnam and Gopalpur are another major ports in this region. Okay. So now the second is called the Coromandel Coast. So where do we have Coromandel Coast? From river Krishna till Kanyakumari, this region is called the Coromandel Coast. This is called the northern circle. So to the south of river Krishna until Kanyakumari is what we have a Coromandel Coast. So Coromandel actually means a black sand. So here the sand that is found on the sea shores are a bit blackish in color. And that is why they are usually called the Coromandel Coast. Right? So the coastal region to the south of river Krishna from Machilipatnam till Kanyakumari is called the Coromandel Coast. Right? The major city over here is Chennai. Chennai is also the major seaport over here. Another major port is Tuticorin. This region receives heavy rainfall because of the depressions and all that is quite common in this Bay of Bengal. This region receives very good rainfall. Okay, so that is about the Coromandel Coast. So the Coromandel Coast is actually to the south of river Krishna from Machilipatnam to Kanyakumari. The major city is Chennai. Tuticorin is another important port here. This region receives very heavy rainfall. So when we say more about this eastern coastal plain, this is wider than the western coastal plain, right? So the western coastal plains are comparatively narrower, whereas this is a wider one, right? And this region is more fertile than the western coast also. Okay. We have alluvial soil available in plenty in a eastern coastal line. Why? Because most of the rivers like Damodar or Mahanadi or Godavari or Kaveri or Penna or whichever river they are, most of them originate in the eastern side of the Western Ghats, and they travel a long distance by the time they reach this region. Right? So as they flow for a longer distance, they always carry a lot of silt along with them, which makes obviously the region to have a very good amount of alluvial soil, which makes this land area a more fertile one. Okay? Deltas are there. Sundarban Delta is there on the mouth of river Ganga. Then Godavari Delta is there. Krishna Delta is there. A small one called the Kaveri Delta also is there. Right? Then this region is very famous for food crops, like rice is mostly cultivated in this region. Rice is mostly cultivated in this region, and that is why this region, especially the northern Sircar region, is called the rice bowl of South India. Okay? So that is about the eastern coast. Now, western coast actually is from Gujarat till Kanyakumari. Okay, so this region is known as the Rann of Rann of Kutch, right? So right from here till here we have the western coastal line, right? So the western coastal plain is in between the Arabian Sea and the Western Ghats on the western side. And it extends on the states of Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa was here, Karnataka was there, and Kerala is also there. Okay. This is comparatively a narrower region, right? Western coastal plain is comparatively a narrow region. It's not that fertile also. It's not that fertile. When we compare it with that of the eastern coastal plains, it's not that fertile. It's fertile, but not as fertile as the western, so the eastern plains, right? So, yeah. So as we had the divisions for the eastern coastal plain, we have divisions for western coastal plains also, right? So in that, the first one is the Gujarat coast. First one is the Gujarat coast, which originates from here until here. Okay, the coastal region of the state of Gujarat is what is known as the Gujarat coast. And this region is there, na? Yeah, this region is known as the Gulf of Kutch. And here we have again another water inlet just like here, and this is known as the Gulf of Kambat. Okay, so the coastal line on the coast of Gujarat is known as the Gujarat coast. The two major features in that are the Gulf of Kutch and the Gulf of Kambat. It's comparatively plain land region. It's comparatively very plain land region. Gir forest is one of the most important features over here. Okay, Gir forest. Gir forest is a national wildlife sanctuary where Asiatic lions are bred and fed. Then the important rivers in this region, Narmada, Tapti, Sabarmati. Okay, the coastal region of Gujarat is called the Gujarat coast. It starts at the Kutch region, the Ran of Kutch region until the end of Gujarat. The two major features are the Gulf of Kutch and the Gulf of Kambat, right? Then it's comparatively flat land area. Bir forest is located here. Then the major rivers that come and join this region are Narmada, Tapti and Sabarmati, right? The second one is the Konkan coast. The Konkan coast. So once the Gujarat coast gets over, then the coast of Maharashtra, means some part of Gujarat is also there. From the Ran of Kambat, the coastal region of Maharashtra, and here we have a small state called Goa, isn't it? Yes. Until the coast of Goa is called the Konkan coast. This is a Gujarat coast. So Konkan coast is a coastal line which starts very close to the Ran of Kambat till the coast of Goa. Okay. So this is not that flat land area. It's full of rocks. Plenty of rocks are seen on this region. It's uneven and there are plenty of bays in that. Bay means what? Small land areas we have Bay of Bengal. Yeah, it's a land area and all of a sudden it goes like that. So this is called a bay. Okay. So these bay areas are usually used as small ports. So plenty of bays are found there, and we have many of these bays are converted into ports where we can keep the ships safe over there, right? And quite often, see, as I've told you, the land is uneven, plenty of a rocky, what we call it, a coastal line it is. Okay, we can often see large, huge rocks along the coastal line. So we have huge towers built on the coastal areas. Right? And these towers are known as a lighthouse. Okay? So, just as the traffic police people control the traffic without happening any accidents and all, these lighthouses used to show that, there is a land nearby. Okay? So, that, the coastal region is usually used by small ships and all for, commuting and all. So, especially in the olden days. Now we have got railways, roadways and all, but earlier. So, in the olden days also, the foreigners used to come to these regions on the ships, and they had to be guided safely. They had to be guided safely, and just because of that reason, these lighthouses were established. So, as these lighthouses are established, what happens? Yes, the ships that come into the region will understand, okay, there are huge rocks over there, we need to be careful. Okay, so because of the presence of huge rocks on the coastal region, they used to erect huge towers which are known as lighthouses. Then, this region is actually blessed with oil deposits. Oil deposits means what oil can we expect there? Can we expect some sunflower oil or some cooking oil over there? No. Oil deposit means petroleum products, right? So we know that the petrol or the diesel or the kerosene. So these are some oils that we dig out, isn't it? We dig these oil out of the earth. They are also known as fossil fuels, isn't it? They are also known as fossil fuels. So these fossil fuels are actually dug out of the earth. And this region of the Konkan coast is identified to have such kind of oil deposits, right? Especially near Mumbai. Mumbai in Maharashtra is one of the most important seaport in this region and the cities also. And there is a region near the port of Mumbai which is identified as Bombay High. This region is identified as a Bombay High, and Bombay High has got a very good amount of oil deposits. We have got rigs. Rigs means there's oil. What we call it? Extracting platforms in seas or water. Okay. So that is about the Konkan coast, one of the longest coastal regions, which is on the western side of India. Starts very close to the Gulf of Camber till the coast of Goa. It's quite rocky, uneven. We can often find plenty of rocks in this region, and many of those rocks we can see lighthouses erected so as to guide the ships to safety. Then this area has a very good amount of oil deposit. Bombay High, a place near Mumbai, is identified, and oil extraction is actually happening there also. Right? Now the third one is the Malabar coast. So from the edge of Goa till Kanyakumari is what the Malabar coast is. Okay. So after Goa, the Konkan coastal region gets over, and from there till the tip Kanyakumari, where both the east and the coastal plains converge together, we have another coastal plain, and that is the Malabar coast. Okay. When we compare this Konkan coast and the Malabar coast is wider. Konkan coast is narrower, with almost all the mountains are actually into the ocean, into the sea. Right? Then this region receives heavy rainfall. The Malabar coastal regions actually receive a very good amount of rainfall, and it is full of thick green, lush green forest areas. Okay, the western ghats are continuous mountains, and they cause a good amount of rainfall in the region. Okay, so that area is covered fully with trees, right? And the major crops that are cultivated in this region include rice, tobacco, coffee, coconut, banana, groundnuts, etc. Sugarcane, etc. Right? So the major states that fall under this region are Karnataka and Kerala. Coconut is one of the most important cultivations in Kerala, and it is known as a land of coconuts. The major port regions in this area is Cochin is one of the most important cities over here. Then minor ports or subordinate ports are we have Mangalore, New Mangalore, then Calicut. Okay, so these are some of the ports in this region, right? This region, Malabar coast, is actually full of lagoons. Lagoon is nothing else but shallow waters formed by the sand deposits over there. It's shallow waters. Then they are called backwaters. They are called backwaters. Plenty of backwaters are there, and most of these lagoons or these backwaters are connected with the sea also, right? So Kerala is a state which has got a very good number of these backwaters. Backwater means it's a huge lake which actually is connected with the sea. Okay, so during the high tide, obviously the salt water will come into this, and during the lower tide, obviously the water will go out of it also. Now, the government over there has connected these backwaters using canals, and they have established water route within the state itself, right? And it's one of the most important tourist attraction also. Houseboats are used in these lagoons and canal systems. Okay, So that is about the coastal plains, right? So there are two coastal plains for us. One is eastern coastal plain and the second is western coastal plain. Eastern coastal plains starts from the Sundarban Delta and ends at Kanyakumari. Eastern. The western starts at the Gulf of Kutch region of Gujarat and up to Kanyakumari in the south. Eastern coastal plain is again divided as Northern Sircar and the Coromandel Coast. Northern Sircar are the northernmost part of the eastern coastal plain, which starts just at the edge of a Sundarban Delta and extends up to the Krishna River Krishna, or up to Machilipatnam. Then the Coromandel Coast is from Machilipatnam to Kanyakumari. Western coastal plain are actually divided into three. The first is the Gujarat coast, which actually is of the coastal region of the state of Gujarat. The major features are the Gulf of Kutch and the Gulf of Kambat over there. Gir forest is located in that. Then the second is the Konkan coast, which starts from the Gulf of Kambat until the state of Goa. It's narrower, it's quite rocky. Often rocks are seen into the sea also. Being a bit dangerous for the ships and the boats to travel, they erect lighthouses to show the boats this way. Then bays are found in this region where harbors are usually built. Then the Malabar coast is the southernmost coastal plain of western coast. It starts from Goa till the Kanyakumari region. Karnataka and Kerala are in this region. It's a bit wider than the Konkan coastal region. Cultivation is done over here. This region, this is good rainfall. There are a lot of backwaters or lagoons over here. And the government of Kerala has established canal systems which connects these lagoons, and yes, it has become a major tourist attraction. Right?